We're back. It's podcast number 65 of Sports Talk with JWock. I am your host, Jonah Walkenfoos, and today I think this is kind of a long overdue episode where I'm going to be basically talking about what sports mean to me. I believe it was my second ever episode on YouTube. I kind of talked about, why I got into sports and stuff, but I'm going to be really talking about what sports truly mean to me and how it has impacted my life in both a positive and negative way, I guess. So just sit back. This is going to be a little bit of a more chill, quicker episode, but I just wanted to get this episode out there just because sports do mean a lot to me. So I do have a couple questions I'm going to be answering. Basically, the first question is, what sports did I play? So as far as the sports I played about 3 sports in total growing up as far as competitively. I played soccer essentially since I was 2, I believe, either 2 or 3. That was the first sport I ever played. And soccer has always meant a lot to me. I know a lot of people don't really like watching soccer or even playing it. A lot of people find it boring. But I personally really enjoyed soccer. It was just really fun. And just the friends I've made along the way. I've made some really good friends. I have, friends that I continue to talk to today that I played soccer with. So soccer's always meant a lot to me. It's always been a sport to where I was able to just show off my speed. I was able to run. In this video, I might show a couple of pictures of me playing soccer growing up, as well as just maybe some clips that you guys can watch while I'm talking, just so you're not looking at me the whole time. But yeah, soccer was definitely a sport that I really enjoyed playing. I played it all the way up till high school, till my senior year. I actually almost quit senior year because I felt that I was kind of getting burnt out, along with maybe the coaches potentially being one of the main reasons why I didn't want to play anymore. But thankfully, one of my good friends, one of my best friends, ended up convincing me to play soccer my senior year and play with him one last year, and just with some of the guys I've grown up playing with. It was just so fun. And I thank him. I'm very thankful he had me play that year, because that was a really fun year, even though we weren't very successful. But yeah, I've always been pretty solid at soccer. I played varsity about 3 years in total in high school, and I was also a swing from JV to varsity my freshman year. So I was kind of involved in the varsity realm for all 4 years, so that was pretty cool. But overall, soccer's just meant a lot to me. But yeah, let's get on to the next sport. I played also a lot of basketball. I played basketball a little after I started soccer. I believe I started basketball in 2nd grade. It might have been 1st or 2nd grade. I don't remember. But there was just this recreation league that you can use, or that I could play, called NYB, Nampa Youth Basketball, where I was able to just play, in the rec leagues. And it was really fun. You were able to join a team, and your team name was an NBA team name. I believe the first team I played on was the Pacers, so that was pretty cool. And that's when I really got into the NBA, because I looked up players on the Pacers, and that was when Paul George and stuff was still in Indiana, which feels like a long time ago for me. But basketball is definitely the sport that I would consider my favorite, at least watching wise. Basketball has been that sport that, it's just that high pace, fast pace, but also takes a lot of skill to play kind of sport. I've always been the kid that wanted to, get better every single day. I believe it was 7th grade when I first started actually playing in a competitive form of basketball, where I tried out for the middle school team, which was really cool. And I ended up making the A team, which was awesome. But yeah, I remember watching, the high school I went to, when my brother was in high school, he wasn't playing, but the team that was playing for my high school, Skyview, they were playing really well. They ended up making the state tournament that year. And I remember just watching one of the players, and he was just shooting the ball lights out. I think he had 25 points that game. He was having an absolute unbelievable game. And by the way, in high school, especially in Idaho, scoring 25 points is really good. So, I mean, like, if you guys are in another state and you're watching this, like, 25 points, like, really, I see people doing that all the time. It's different. I don't know. Like, there's something about in Idaho, like, the scoring's a lot lower, partially because I think the defense is better. But I also would just say, like, the talent in Idaho is definitely not as good. But anyways, like, I remember watching him, and then like the next day, I remember going outside till like 9 p.m. just constantly shooting hoops, just like practicing. And I did that for multiple days in a row. Like, it wouldn't just be like, oh, I'd practice for one day and then just not practice anymore. Like, I shot all the time, and it led me to being one of the better shooters in at least my division my senior year of high school, which is awesome. But it was just also just another amazing experience, being able to make many friends and just create good bonds throughout my entire time playing basketball, and it just means a lot to me. And then finally, I also ran track. I only did it for 1 year, my senior year, because I wanted to get this thing called the white letter, which is essentially you play 3 varsity sports in one school year, which I ended up accomplishing because I ran track. I ended up making the state tournament in a relay, which was pretty cool. It was awesome being able to play in state to finish off my, I guess you could say, sports career, even though it ended in high school. Yeah, track was definitely one of the sports that I probably wouldn't, I just really didn't like it that much. It was fun just like being able to get out there and win some races occasionally, but I definitely prefer more of a team sport format like soccer and basketball, just because I feel like with track, you had to just kind of sit around and wait. And then once you get closer to your event, you got to warm up, and then you ran the event for like not even a minute because I was a sprinter. So like it was like a really like quick race, and then it's like, okay, well, now I gotta wait again. So it's kind of just too slow of a pace for me, but I still semi enjoyed track. It just wasn't my favorite overall. But yeah, that's just kind of a little breakdown of the sports I'd play. Let's get on to the next question, where it basically is asking what sport was my favorite to play. So obviously I played 3 sports, but I think my favorite sport to play was definitely basketball. Like I said, I really like that fast-paced type of movement in the game, just the way it was, and just that satisfaction of knocking down the 3 ball was just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's unmatched to me. But if I were to say another sport that I didn't necessarily play competitively, but I had a ton of fun playing, sports like volleyball and spikeball, I really enjoyed both of those sports. I will still play them to this day. They're just both really fun, especially when you just play with a bunch of friends just casually. It's just really fun when everybody just gets together and plays those sports. I would recommend it. If you've never tried those 2 sports, I definitely recommend them. They're so fun to play. Next question we have, how have sports basically helped me in my social life? So sports have been a big impact in my social life because growing up, I was a big introvert, and I still basically am. If any of you know me like real well, I'm not the kind of person that's outgoing, that's going to go talk to you just like willfully. You'll most likely have to come to me to talk to me because I'm a very quiet person. I kind of mind my own business. I don't like to get in the way of a lot of things. But when it comes to talking about sports, I love talking about sports, and I'll talk to anybody about sports. It's so fun. So if you guys ever see me, talk to me about sports. I love it. But yeah, it's definitely just helped me socially build a lot of friendships that has really that has lasted since. Like, I know I don't have like a ton of like super close friends nowadays, but throughout sports, I've just built a lot of close bonds, and it's just been great. And I don't think I would be there without sports. And I thank the Lord for blessing me with the ability to play sports, because I think, without sports, I wouldn't have a lot of friends, and I probably wouldn't know a lot of people. So sports have been a huge impact in my life. And that kind of leads to the next question, where it's basically talking about how sports have helped me mentally as well. Because I've noticed recently, just after high school, when kind of everything dies down, I have to start making these big decisions, and I'm no longer doing sports. It's kind of been hard for me mentally, because it's been like a real big mental like adjustment, because without sports, I've had a hard time figuring out what I want to do. And with and ever since basically track ended, which was the last sport of the year, I've just kind of had a hard time figuring out what I want to do. And there's been times where I just don't feel motivated getting up. Sometimes when I just want to kind of lay around, I feel a lot lazier. I'm trying to get back into it where I'm playing in like men's leagues for basketball. So that's nice. But yeah, I mean, sports have just done a lot for me mentally. Like when I'm in sports, I feel like I'm actually, I feel like there's a purpose there. And I do know there is a purpose in life regardless, and there's a purpose in life for everyone. So I hope all of you know that. Because God has blessed us with amazing gifts. They just may not be the same as other people's, because God truly has blessed each individual with their own gifts. But sports have really helped me to mentally just shape who I am, I guess, and just help remind me. I remember towards the end of my sports career, I guess, and it's kind of weird saying sports career because it was only high school, but I really remembered why I was playing sports, and it was because I wanted to go out there and glorify my Lord. I wanted to glorify God in everything I did. So every time before a game, I like to say a little prayer, just telling God, hey, help me to go out there and play with the gifts you have given me, basically. And just a little prayer like that, and it took me a long way. And it just helped me shape myself mentally to remember that everything I do in life is to glorify God. And if I'm not doing it to glorify Him, I should not be continuing to pursue that thing, if that makes sense. But anyways, that's going to be kind of just that question on how sports have helped me mentally. It's really helped reshape my mind and get me towards remembering who I'm doing it for. And there's even a Bible verse that says do it, that kind of talks about how you should do it everything for the Lord at your best. Obviously that's not what the verse says, but I'll probably pull that up and put that in the description below. So if you want to read that verse, I'll probably have it down there. And then the final question I'm going to do is, why did I continue to pursue my career even after sports ended for me playing? But why did I continue to pursue my career in the sports field? Because I just really love sports. I think they're just something that I always am talking about, whether that's with other people or with myself. That's why I'm doing a podcast right now where I could talk to you guys about sports. It's a great opportunity for me to be able to share my knowledge, but also just have fun with you guys, just talking about sports. I just really have enjoyed just the way sports are. And watching people interviewing these professional athletes and doing all these podcasts and stuff, it really inspired me, and I've always grown up wanting to do that. I think that's honestly the reason why. And I'm actually going to be doing an internship this fall, if you didn't know, where I'm going to be talking more about high school sports, not on this podcast, but on another channel, which I will be talking about soon. At some point, so you guys can tune in and check out them as well, because they're a great organization, and I'm really excited to work with them and intern with them. So but anyways, that's just gonna be kind of the end of this episode. I just want to do a nice episode talking about why I love sports and how much it has impacted me. Thank you all so much for tuning in to podcast number 65 of Sports Talk with JWock. You can check out all my social media platforms down below in the link description. And I hope you all have an amazing week. God bless.